Hello and welcome on the Gamers Academy YouTube channel. My name is Outlandish. I played this game competitively for 4 years, but I decided to retire recently, become a coach, and partner up with Gamers Academy to provide you guys education content to make you the best players you want to be. If you want to book me or one of my colleagues for individual coaching sessions, you can visit us on gamers-academy.com. You can find the whole page in the description below. And on top of that, you can use this link to save up to 10% for the first session you will book with us. In this episode, we will talk about the 12.10 patch. It's just a preview, but we will talk about the changes, especially the HP adjustment that will affect every champion. All that in the upcoming video. As I already said in the intro, today we will talk about the 12.10 patch preview. It's not final yet. Riot Vlogs on Twitter again posted the upcoming patch notes. If you want to discuss with him about it or with the community, feel free to join the discussion on Twitter. It's really helpful to find a better balancing. So if everyone is providing some ideas, it's better for Riot to find the right middle ground. For now, it's the 12.10 patch, and the news are really, really exciting. And for me as a coach, it's super nice to see that basically, or not nice to see that everything will be chaos. Like, everything is getting changed, and I think it's a long time ago that there was a patch that affected basically every champion, because they're just changing the whole play style, the whole base stats of every champion. And as a coach, it's obviously really exciting to see that, but it's a lot of work because like the meta will completely change, new champions will come in, new item builds will appear, and this is really exciting. So we'll review that together, and let's discuss in the comments as well about it, what you think about the adjustment. The basic idea behind this patch is basically the games were too fast, and even top laners were perma taking Ignite. No one was taking TP anymore. It was all about fighting. Champions were too squishy, games were too fast. If you look at MSI, the games are like maximum finishing like at 25 minutes. Usually it's like really snowball heavy, one-sided games. And Riot wants to do something against that. And the idea behind it is to just buff the base defensive stats and the base HP. And this is really interesting. If we look at all champions, the first stat that's getting buffed is 70 base HP on level 1, 14 HP per level, 1.2 armor, and 0.8 magic resist. And this is really, really big already. Just imagine every champ that has 70 HP more on level 1. Not only tanks are obviously profiting from that because they're getting way tanky already with level 1. I just imagine Sion being level 1, having 2k HP basically. But even hyper carries are really profiting from that, because champions that were before that really squishy and were really vulnerable in laning phase are profiting from that, having 70 HP more. For example, something like Kog'Maw or Vayne or Kayle or whatever hyper carry you can imagine is having 70 HP more. That means he can trade more. Isn't that vulnerable anymore in lane? And with the base stats he gains, he's getting tankier over the game. And I could assume that something like a hyper carry meta will come back because of that, because currently we have more let me say utility ADCs on bot lane and less the pure hyper carries. Something like Kog'Maw or Vayne we had for a longer time, not really in the meta. This is a really, really interesting change because it will affect the whole map, every lane and every champion. And I'm happy that they didn't only do that, they adjusted more things to that, because if you're buffing tankiness for every champion, you need to reduce and buff other stuff as well. So they decided to reduce healing and shielding, not only champion healing and shielding, but the whole system behind it. So every item, every spell is getting reduced by 10 to 28% on healing and 10% by shielding, which is really important, because if you give champions more tankiness, but at the same time you're giving them more sustainability, that means that they're unkillable from level 1 onwards. If we imagine something like Gragas that is already really tanky, and then you're giving him the same amount of healing plus 70 HP more on level 1, he's basically unkillable in laning phase, and this is something Riot doesn't want. They just want to have tankier champions in longer games, but not unkillable champions. So they're nerfing healing and shielding at the same time as well, which I think is a really, really great choice. At the same time, they're nerfing Grievous wounds. So just as a recap, healing, shielding is getting nerfed, and Grievous wounds is getting nerfed. That means from 40 to 30% and 60 to 50%. So I think this is just an adjustment. If you're nerfing the healing, you need to nerf the anti-healing as well at the same time. Otherwise, the healing process and the shielding concept doesn't have any effect anymore. So they're just adjusting both sides, which I think is already an indicator this whole patch is really thought through. And they have a really great idea of what they want to achieve with this patch. It's not just like sometimes Riot is just doing random changes and without a concept, but here we see a clear direction they want to go for. They're nerfing penetration items as well. And if you remember, there was like a meta where like the turrets basically had a laser, and this was like the tank meta where everyone had like such a huge amount of HP. And you could like tank every turret as much as you want at a certain point of the game. They want to deny again the same meta by buffing turrets. I think this is really important. If you make champions tankier, and we will most likely see like 2 or 3 tanks every game on each side with this buffs, they want to buff obviously the turrets as well. Otherwise you can just tank the turrets and dive way too easy in early game. So they're buffing the AD of turrets as well. So this is a really good change. As I said, it's like they have a clear concept with everything they do. It's not just like, okay, let's buff HP from every champion and we just flip it and see what happens. So they're adjusting everything. And the last thing is that the Nashor is getting more AD, which I guess is the same concept as you have with the turrets, that you want to buff like the neutral objectives just to deny the chance that you can like just be too tanky and tank everything, and we just repeat this meta where you just run over the map and get absolutely 0 damage. But this was everything from the champion adjustment and the system adjustments that they're doing. Let me tell me what you think about this patch. I think it's really great. So far the comments under the post are really positive as well. Usually, let me phrase that in a friendly way, but the patches from League of Legends are most of the time a bit suboptimal. They're just like not really looking at competitive and looking at the highest level. It's most of the time just comfort, patches, nerfs or buffs, and like if they release a skin, they're buffing a champion, stuff like that. And I don't think this is like really smart, but this is something really good. It's a good patch. It's a good concept. They want to change something. They want to shake it up. They want to change the dynamic, how the game is being played. And I think every League of Legends player will be super excited about the upcoming beta, because everything will get changed. So let me know in the comments what you think about it. Thanks for watching this episode on the Gamers Academy YouTube channel about the 12.10 patch preview. We would appreciate if you like, subscribe, and activate the bell on our channel, and leave us some feedback about the content we are creating, or discuss with me about the current patch. If you want to discuss that with me or one of my colleagues in depth, you can join our official Gamers Academy Discord server. You can find the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye.